$70,000 is a down payment on a new 40-footer, or it's the whole price of an old one that's already crossed oceans and will keep crossing them long after that new boat's a puddle of depreciation at the dock. Same money. The difference isn't the price and it isn't the length, it's the year she was drawn. Because almost every boat still making real ocean passages was drawn before 1985. That's not the catch, that's the reason. 30 years of salt water on my hands, a lot of it offshore, and I've watched the same trade happen in every harbor on both coasts. A good sailor with a real dream and real money walks up the dock, and a man in a clean polo shirt walks him onto something white and wide and financed and sells him headroom. Volume. Sail her home this season. What that man will never tell you is when she was drawn, or by whom, because the honest answer would cost him the sale. The boat he's standing on was shaped by a marketing department to sell at a show. The boats I'm about to give you were shaped by named naval architects to keep a crew alive 4 days from land. And the market has it exactly backwards. It charges a premium for the new one and all but gives the old one away. So today, 7 older sailboats that will still carry you across an ocean and bring you home. And the single reason they can that nobody at the show wants, said out loud. I'll defend one boat this channel has every reason to trash because the market's been unfair to her. Let's get into them. First, that year, because it isn't arbitrary. Somewhere in the middle 1980s, the mainstream of this industry turned. The moderate displacement hull with a real keel and a skeg-hung rudder, drawn by a man whose name was on the drawing, gave way to the beamy, light, high-volume production boat built to a price and a brochure. A couple of the boats on this list were still being built into the late 80s, but every one of them was drawn before that turn, back when a designer's reputation rode on how the boat behaved at sea, not how she showed at the slip. And there's one honest bill on every boat here, so hear it now and stop being afraid of it. The standing rigging, the wire holding the mast up, has a working life of 10 to 15 years, and a boat about to cross an ocean wants fresh wire no matter how bright the old stuff looks. A re-rig on a boat this size runs $6,000 to $10,000, a little more on the biggest one. That's not a reason to walk. It's a number you write into the offer. Now the boats. We start at number 7, the Tartan 37, and with a name you're going to hear more than once today, Sparkman and Stevens. Olin Stevens' firm drew this boat. Tartan built close to 500 of them in Ohio starting in 1976, and most buyers walk right past her, seeing a tired old club racer with plaid cushions. She's moderate heavy, she tracks like she's on a rail, and in a blow she locks in and carries her sail while lighter boats are rounding up. The popular version has a centerboard that draws just over 4 feet. Thin water access no deep fin 40 can match, and she'll still cross the Gulf Stream to use it. A clean one runs from the low 30s into the low 60s. The money hides in the centerboard pennant and trunk, a genuine upkeep item people forget to ask about, and in a rig that's very likely on the clock. She's a Sparkman and Stevens ocean boat for the price of a used truck, and she is the easiest yes on this list. Number 6, the Downeaster 38, built in Santa Ana, California, by a yard called Downeast, close to 250 of them through the late 70s. What the buyer sees is a fat, slow character boat, all bowsprit and high freeboard. What she actually is, a hand-laid solid glass hull, with the ballast molded right into a full keel, no keel bolts to weep, nothing bolted onto part company with the boat in a knockdown. Henry Morschlatt drew her tough enough that people set her beside a west sail for ruggedness, only roomier. Clean ones trade in the low 30s to low 60s. Here's the honest knock. Her sail plan is on the shy side, so in a soft morning breeze she'll sit there as if waiting for permission, and you'll be reaching for the diesel while the light boats ghost past. But the open ocean is not a soft morning breeze. It's exactly the weather she was drawn for. Check the bowsprit fitting and the chain plates, price the rig, and she'll carry you anywhere and never once frighten you doing it. Number 5, and now we cross to France, the Wauquiez Pretorien 35, Kim Holman's firm, Holman and Pye, drew her. Chantier Wauquiez built a little over 200 between 1979 and 86, and sailors who know call this whole era of Wauquiez the French swans, because the build quality honestly stands beside the Scandinavian yachts that cost 3 times the money. Solid glass, external ballast bolted to a deep stub, a big skeg-hung rudder, and 46% of her weight carried low in the keel, which makes her stiff and dry when it pipes up. You'll find them on the East Coast from the high 60s to the high 90s. Here's where the money hides, and it's specific. A lot of these came with a Volvo sail drive instead of a shaft, and the aluminum drive leg corrodes, inspect it, and budget for it. Find one that's been sorted, and you've bought a French swan for Catalina plus money. Number 4 is where I keep a promise and defend a boat this channel has every reason to run from. Say the word Morgan, and if you've watched me before, you flinch, because I put a Morgan on a list of boats that'll bankrupt you in the boatyard: the fat Out Island 41, the Bahamas charter tank. This is not that boat. The Morgan 382 and the 383 and 384 that came after her are a completely different animal, and the only thing they share with the Out Island is 6 letters on the transom. Here's the truth the market never bothers to learn. 3 unrelated boats have worn the Morgan 38 badge, and this one was drawn by Ted Brewer, the same man who invented the comfort ratio every honest reviewer quotes. Moderate displacement, 40% ballast, a skeg-hung rudder, a comfort ratio sitting right at 30, and close to 500 built between 1977 and 86. They ask $40,000 to $80,000, and they ask it quietly, because the name scares buyers off. The one thing to check: a handful of the earliest 382s left the factory with a main bulkhead that wasn't tabbed properly to the hull, and Morgan recalled them. Nearly all are long fixed, but confirm this one was. The market punishes her for a reputation she never earned. That's your opening. If this is the kind of straight answer the man in the polo shirt will never give you, the one that costs him a sale and saves you a fortune, do me one favor before the last 3. Tap that like button and then subscribe. I put a couple of these out every week, and there's always another boat and another number nobody added up for you coming right behind it. Number 3, and that name once more: Sparkman and Stevens, because when a drawing board is this good, you go back to it. The Tartan 41. Tartan built only about 80 of them in the early 70s, and here's the part that should stop you cold. Her lines are very nearly the Sparkman and Stevens Swan 41, the custom racer commissioned for a British Prime Minister. Same office, same era, a fraction of the money. Under those long, lovely overhangs is a genuine offshore boat, a capsize screening number under 2, a comfort ratio near 28, 9,000 pounds of ballast holding her on her feet. Because so few were built, you wait for a good one. A solid boat runs from around $50,000 to past $100 for one somebody's poured a refit into. She's a 70s boat, so assume the rig and look hard at the decks. Do that, and you own a hull with a swan's bloodline for a fraction of swan money. Number 2, the Whitby 42, and if you're paying attention, you already know whose hand drew her, because it's the same as number 4, Ted Brewer again. She's a husky, high-sided, center cockpit ketch, and the crowd writes her off as a live-aboard and nothing more the moment they see that freeboard. Let them. That volume is why a couple can live aboard her for years, and the shoal 5-foot draft and huge tanks, 210 gallons of fuel, 290 of water, are why she's turned up in remote anchorages all over the world for 50 years. Now the honest part, because I promised it. She is not the boat for the screaming 40s, and I won't dress her up as one. She's built more for living aboard and crossing in her own good time than for taking a beating. And the last ones built down in Fort Myers are the best of the lot. Her decks are balsa cord, so put a moisture meter on them first. Priced from the high 50s into six figures, with a whole owner's association behind her, she is the most boat two people can afford and still handle, because the ketch rig splits her sail into armfuls a short crew can manage in the dark. And number one, the boat I'd write my own check for, the Amel Maramu. 45 feet of center cockpit ketch, built in France by a near-blind boat builder named Amel, who chased one idea his whole life. A boat that a couple, or one person alone, could sail across an ocean and never once have to leave the cockpit to do it. What the market sees is a strange old French boat with proprietary everything and a 6.5-foot draft. What the ocean sees is the most complete passage maker on this list. Amel didn't build a hull and hang options on it. He built a watertight system, hull and deck fused in the mold, structural bulkheads bonded in, backing plates threaded into the laminate instead of bolts punched through the deck. Every line, every furler, leads back to that one protected cockpit. These are the boats solo circumnavigators actually choose. You'll see them from the 70s up past 130,000. The Honest cautions, she's deep, so she's no thin water boat. The in-mast furling on the middle of the run boats had teething trouble, so inspect it. And everything aboard is Amel's own way of doing a thing, which rewards an owner willing to learn her. Do that, and you're standing on a 40-year-old boat that is better set up to cross an ocean right now than almost anything on the new boat dock. So what would I do with my own money? If I wanted to be sailing this season without wrecking the bank, I'd take the Tartan 37, shoal enough for the islands, honest enough to trust, cheap enough to buy now. If I meant to live aboard and wander the shallows, I'd hunt down a late Whitby 42 with dry decks on the meter. But if it were my wife and me and a long way to go, and we truly meant to leave and stay gone, I'd write the check for the Amel Maramu, because she is the one boat here that's already finished, already rigged, already watertight, already set up to be worked by two tired people in the dark. Every other boat on this list, you finish. That one's just waiting on you. Now you've got the boat. What you don't have yet is the number, because every one of these is sitting on a broker's listing at a price that isn't real, and next time I'm finally going to walk you through the part almost everybody gets wrong. How to make the offer. What the broker's silence is actually telling you. The two things a survey turns up that are worth thousands at the table, and why the asking price is the one figure in this whole business you should never believe. That's the next one, line by line. Until then, don't let anybody hurry you off the dock. The right old boat has already waited 40 years. She'll wait a few more weeks for the sailor who does the arithmetic. And she'll be just as solid under you on the far side of all that water as she was the morning you signed. Somebody drew her to get you there. 40 years on, she still will.